You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
Good morning. This is the Frank Skinner Show. My name's Emily Dean and I'm sitting in for Frank this week because he's not here. He's doing TV. He's left us behind, our sad old radio people. He hasn't really. He's busy, but he loves us dearly. We're not live this morning, I should say. We are pre-recording the show. So what can they not do, Cockerel?
Texting.
Very good.
I mean, they can, but it would be a waste.
Well, thank you for reminding them. And for that, you're going to get your jingle.
Yay!
And one for Gareth.
Great, perfect.
I don't know why I played Crazy Horses for you.
I think it's good. It's animal themed, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've got cockerel, we've got crazy horses over there.
Oh, well, talking of animal themed, have we done all the business, by the way? So no texting in, but you can... They can't do anything, can they? Can they email the show?
They could email if they're patient and they're prepared to wait until the week after when Frank's on, you know.
Yeah.
Could deal with it in email corner, perhaps.
And you can always
if people
tweet
want to
us.
write in, what's the address to write in?
Please
Do we
write to us
accept
at
post?
Absolute Radio. Or you can obviously you can always follow the show on Twitter because we do one tweet a week, I believe, don't we?
And if you want any of your pictures back, include a stamped addressed envelope. And we will try and return your pictures to you.
Those were the
I
days.
used to love doing that, didn't you? The stamped addressed envelope to Saturday Superstore.
SAE. One of my favourite abbreviations, I think.
Is it?
OMG.
P.O. Box. What's a P.O. Box?
I love a P.O. box. Well, that's normally where very dodgy companies are. If you have a P.O. box, don't invest. That's what I say. We're talking about animals. I've brought my dog Raymond in today.
Oh,
You sure have.
He's a Shih Tzu. He's a little Shih Tzu, isn't he?
He sure is.
I mean, there's no
Your
need
manager
for
was
that.
picking it up before the show began recording.
He's my manager's in there. She's looking after him today, which is quite Mariah Carey to get your manager to look after your dog.
She's already got him a slot on Mock the Week.
Yeah.
It's going really well.
Funny, he's the funniest one on there. But yeah, he's basically. I mean, I do love him and I do adore him. And Gareth, I think you've slightly fallen for him, haven't you?
I've never had a dog, and I feel I have a special connection to that animal. He's so adorable. And hypoallergenic, you tell me, usually. I mean, I was being very polite and I thought, well, I'm going to cuddle this dog because I know Emily wants me to. I mean, my windpipe is going to close up any minute. But hypoallergenic, so I had a lovely cuddle and he licked my face. It's the most human contact I've had for a very long time.
And that was
except
just
it's not-
me. And then you met the dog.
Yeah. It's not human contact, is it? See, although to me, he's more valuable than a human.
He is extraordinary, isn't he? I mean, he does do a lot of face
really
licking,
lovely.
which I know some don't approve of, but it's hard. He's very overly keen, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like a sort of, his
And very-
hormones are raging.
Like a dog.
Yeah,
Like a
he's
really
like a
happy
young
little
puppy.
dog. Yeah.
But and my manager loves dogs as well. And my manager's actually your manager.
That's right.
Yeah,
Gareth.
Kath. No, her name's Kath, not
but
Gareth.
you
This is
said-
Gareth.
To me.
My manager's your manager,
Oh, I
but I'm
see.
aware
Yeah.
that it's radio and
No,
people
you've got
can't
a whole
see who
other
you're pointing
manager.
at. Out of
Thank
the
you
two
very
of us.
much.
What's your
for that.
manager called? We're going really inside baseball today on the show.
Mine's called Rover. My manager's a dog.
good.
I just flipped the whole thing.
Right, I want a
we
part
need to-
in that sitcom. Fetch.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to talk about Kath later
Okay, oh
at some
gosh.
point.
On air.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because very critical today, isn't
Not
it?
at all, not at
because
all.
I looked at her Twitter page,
Right,
and well,
Didn't
firstly,
she
it's an
have a
egg
Twitter page?
avatar.
right.
Oh, I thought that had gone.
No, it's an
still
egg
going.
avatar. We're going to talk about this in a minute. It's worrying.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I was talking earlier about our manager, Gareth, who's here
Yes.
today, looking. I like the very obedient way you had yours. Who's
We'll
looking?
call her Kath.
We'll call her Kath. Who's
because that's
looking
her
after
name.
Ray.
Mm-hmm.
So the Twitter page is. It's just she's got an egg avatar.
Right.
And I think she should have a picture of herself up there or something rather than an egg.
Yeah.
And then I saw that she'd only tweeted one thing, which was, I want vegetables. Oh, no, I think there was one other thing, which was complaining about a broken chair to a company.
Okay.
Don't you think maybe she should expand?
Do you think she should be using that as a PR platform for us?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Do you?
Yeah, and I just think I want vegetables isn't going to cut it.
No. I mean, she's got enough clients as it is. There's no need for any more.
Anyway, in fairness, I shouldn't be complaining about her because she does tolerate our tantrums and meltdowns.
And an egg never looks good. It looks like the person doesn't know how Twitter works.
Well, not if you're saying I want vegetables either.
No.
It's not really working. We should say today, because we're not in our normal studio and we're doing a pre-record.
Yes.
We're in... The producer came in earlier and she was checking out the studio. It's a little room with lots of mics in here. And she said, this is like when people do a proper podcast.
Oh, I see.
It does have that feeling to it. It's a bit like a sort of minister, I put it to you.
It does feel a bit like that. Yeah. If someone's made a political gaffe, it feels like we could be clipped in on a Newsnight or something.
It's a proper kind of political studio. Anyway, I want to talk more about my dog because I'm so glad that you're enjoying him. I, however, have got to the stage with him, Gareth, which is it's going well. But, in a relationship, for the first, let's say 6 weeks, you're doing a bit of a PR thing, aren't you?
Yeah.
Everyone's on their best behaviour.
This is the best he's ever going to behave. That's what you told me. It's one of my favourite quotes of yours.
It's true. It's
great.
true. But it's the first 6 weeks is very much, oh my God, I like Vin Diesel movies. And, I love men that have loads of female friends. Yeah, go out with her till 4. I love that. I'm not jealous.
You let him lick your face whenever he wants. It's fine.
And that's what's happened with me and Ray. I mean, he hasn't gone out with loads of female friends till 4 a.m.
Right.
But
Legend.
he is.
Legend, Ray.
I think he is a legend of the dog world.
You think?
Yeah.
Already?
I think yes.
Brilliant.
But I think what's happening now is I'm just starting to notice the flaws a bit.
Right. And what he's done on the floors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
It is the first 6 weeks of the relationship when they Peter crouch on the floorboards.
So, like, the honeymoon period is over, you feel like, and
Very
you've
much
got
so.
to get to real grips with how you are going to move on with your relationship, realising each other's faults, learning about them, embracing them, and making peace with them.
Yeah, or I could get a new dog.
Yeah. I was going to say, have you got buyer's regret?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So Ray and I, we're going through this difficult period. We'll come out, I have no doubt, we will come out of it fine.
Lapsed into poetry there. We'll come out, I have no doubts.
Oh, it nearly was, wasn't it?
Got the dog. She's going in the bog.
But yeah, I think it's just that difficult period when you. It's not. I'm not calling it disillusionment. I am.
But
are you?
I think.
Well, you were saying to me, no, you weren't. I won't talk about that on air because that's a bit unfair.
You can if you want. I don't
Can
mind.
I? Well, you said you have a whippet, don't you?
We have a dog.
And you were saying sometimes you regretted it.
I think we're mostly glad we've got a dog. Mostly glad we've got a dog. I think that's fine, isn't it? Oh, God. People are shaking their heads at the radio all over the country now.
No, I'm enjoying
sure.
this honesty. What's your regret based on?
Well, just sometimes it's inconvenient having to look after another thing. Like, you just got to compromise all the time. Like, oh, God, now I've got to go home. Because, the dog can't just sit in the house all day. You've got to let them out for a wee or, something stronger, whatever. But it's another creature that you have to factor into your everyday life. And I must admit, I don't do that much with the dog. My wife does the majority
all the
of the
dog
dog
duties.
care. Yeah.
Well, I think Ray and I need to start having date nights.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I think that would be positive.
Like the Obamas.
Yeah.
This is quite serious. This is like 10 years into a marriage situation.
Couples who play together stay together.
No, well, I'm not saying we'd go for a
Make sure
pizza. I'm saying he would maybe agree not to go to the bathroom on my handbag. That would be what I would call a date night for us.
Yeah.
It's just making that little bit of effort in the relationship.
I don't know if he will agree to not go to the bathroom in your handbag. You maybe need to make your handbag less attractive a bathroom. So you have to do all the hard lifting there. You have to.
Or provide him with a more attractive, I don't know, we don't want to argue the man's side of the situation, but maybe make a more attractive place for him to go to the bathroom.
Exactly.
How about that?
Exactly.
Maybe buy a handbag especially for him to go into the bathroom.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I mean, your handbag is shaped like a toilet. I've always felt that was strange.
No, I know, but it's the
have that.
fashion. I know
Yeah.
you don't understand the Parisian fashion,
Designer, innit?
Al.
It's designer.
But what are you going to do? No, I think also he's got a bit of an underwear thing as well.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
Yikes.
If only,
Most dogs
if only we could have a text in.
Most dogs don't, to be fair. Or maybe
Email
they
in.
do. We can't hear from our readers because, they're
Yeah.
not around this morning. But he likes freshly laundered underwear.
Oh, well, that's where he and I do depart.
Oh, my God.
3 days
No,
out of the
I
pair.
can't even speak to you right now.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
So what you're meant to do with the dog, I apologise to anyone listening who doesn't have a dog and finds this a bit boring, or indeed anyone who's got a dog and is going off it a bit. Like Alan.
I don't think we should even apologise at all. If they haven't got a dog and they think it's boring, then their whole life is limited. Like, you can't go and watch Macbeth
You
because
just
you don't
said
understand.
you're bored of yours.
Yeah, but people, what I mean is people
Oh,
that
I
can't
see.
accept entertainment without having lived through that. Like, you go and watch Macbeth and go, oh, well, I've never killed anyone. There's nothing for me here. Like, it's ridiculous. Watch a hospital drama. Well, I'm fine. Why would you watch
Yeah,
it?
but that's a very small demographic, people that haven't killed anyone. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
We're not catering
just
to
me
them.
then.
Or, Scottish people that haven't killed anyone, certainly.
No, but you're right, Alan. I'm not going to apologise for talking about the dog. I'm going to talk a bit more about him.
Uh-huh.
So the thing is, he's lovely, and we have a great
Tiny.
relationship. And he's tiny. He's super cute, and he's got great hair.
Yes.
It's
I mean, it
actually-
looks like
it's
Liz Hurley.
It's impossible to see him just with the naked human eye. You have to have a magnifying glass. But he's very
He
cute
is quite
once you
small.
get him into focus.
But then I am as well, so it's
Yeah.
it's fitting. But I'm finding, I just think he and I need to work on our relationship. There are just some issues there,
Right.
just in terms of respect for each other.
He
Respect
has
for
no
each other's
respect for you.
space. And the good thing is he sleeps in. He's quite a lazy showbiz dog.
Brilliant.
So someone said to me, "Oh, does he wake you up?" I said, "No, he sleeps until midday."
That's good.
It's just the underwear situation that we need to get under control.
I think if he likes clean laundered underwear, that's not a problem. I think that's okay.
Yeah, would you prefer that he was going after the dirty stuff?
I'd prefer he left that part of my life well alone.
I
frankly.
think that might be, and you're not going to love this,
Oh.
but
Thanks for the warning.
Is he just suggesting you put some clothes on around the house?
And you know what? Also, eating leaves, it gets old.
eating leaves. Oh, well, talk to
You
me
know.
about eating leaves. My dog rolls in fox poo. And
Does he?
it's
Again, apologies if you don't roll in fox poo and you
Yeah.
find this somewhat alienating.
Oh man, it absolutely stinks the house out, and you just feel really angry. And then you have to have a moment where you go, "Oh no, she's just being a dog. This is what she does. This is part of her instinct." So, it's a constant trial.
I feel this is very healthy. Like when Alan said that there were times when he regretted having a dog, I felt an icy chill came into the studio, and I feel like there's more stigma around that than if you said, sometimes I regretted having my children. I think people are happier with that idea. I think it's very healthy for people to be able to talk out in the open how maybe they don't like their dogs very much. How maybe they've had
Especially-
enough with the dogs.
When they eat leaves and run around with a bra in their mouth like Hugh Hefner. Not a good look.
It does sound like a legend. You're right. Dog legend.
Do you know what? You and him, you know what you need? A little night on the town. I can see it.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
I'm eating chocolate on air, which is very
I think
unprofessional.
Possibly my favourite moment of the show was just as you were about to turn that fader up, you threw one to the side of your head, aiming for your mouth. I enjoyed
What,
that.
the M&M?
Yeah.
I know, but if we were going to
Lovely
be
moment.
sponsored by a chocolate brand,
They'd probably want someone more coordinated that could get it into their face.
no, but it would be M&M's.
You think?
Well, yeah, because we talk about it so often on this show.
Yeah. And we play a lot of M&M.
Yeah. But the point is, as I was saying to the producer earlier, eating chocolate makes your larynx fat. And I don't want a fat larynx.
I think it's less specific than that.
No, it is that specific. It is definitely a fat larynx you'll get.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know about you, but I don't like a fat larynx.
Some really big larynxes on the train today.
Broken Britain now.
Yeah, tell me about it.
That's what it is. So I'm also getting my house done up at the moment.
Ooh, nice.
This has been going on for some 6 months.
You're getting it renovated into a shoe, aren't you? Like a huge shoe.
Yeah, into a kennel. And I'm going full on. There's a new bathroom, a new kitchen, everything.
Exterior walls?
Oh, yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, always go exterior walls. Everything.
Great.
Well, yes and no.
Oh, not great.
Well, there's two things. Firstly, they're lovely builders. I mean, I love Pavel. I won't have a word said against him.
Mm-hmm.
But there was another character working there called Tudor.
Right.
It's a lesson in history so far, isn't it?
It is essentially.
Yeah.
He's suggesting a lot of exposed wood beams.
Yeah.
He loves a chicken leg.
The whole place looks a bit modern to me. I'm not surprised you think that, Tudor.
I wish you'd stop playing Greensleeves all day. And
How many wives you got?
the thing is, Tudor, I don't think Tudor... I wonder if he would appreciate this material. I don't know, because
Is he Welsh? Is he Welsh?
No.
That's a name there, isn't it?
No, I
Ta-da.
believe Tudor is from... I'm going to get it, so bear with. He might be Lithuanian, I think.
Oh.
Tudor. Romanian, I think. Tudor is Romanian. He doesn't speak English.
Sometimes Eastern European places are a bit behind the times compared to us, aren't they? So maybe...
You should meet his
really
friend Jacobean. He couldn't stop talking. But Tudor, he's a nice guy, but he's really a man of few words. But he loves his music.
Oh, good.
Well, no.
Right.
He likes one song.
Oh.
Played on a lute? But no, so what sort of stuff is he into?
Yeah. Can I guess?
I have to call him Sire. Yeah,
How
go on.
good would it be if the one song that he liked was Song 2 by Blur?
That'd be good.
No, it probably wouldn't. That would be the next best.
Yes. Well, no, I'll tell you what it is.
Is there a song called Song 1? Is it 1 by U2?
No. It is... The song that Tudor plays over and over again is Everything I Do It For You. But he specifically likes one performance of it, which is a stadium performance back in the 80s.
A niche live version.
It's a niche live version, possibly in Romania, I'm not sure. But I've now heard it so often that I found myself the other day joining in with one of the crowd who joins in, because I'd heard it so often, going, whoa! And there's a bit where a woman sort of shrieks really loudly. I know when the claps happen. I know when he says, come on! So it's wearing a bit thin. I mean, he's great. So he's had to go.
Have you thought of seeking alternative accommodation or an alternative Tudor?
Yeah. Another time. Well, I know what you mean. Another builder from history, perhaps.
Or just any other builder that isn't going to play that song on repeat for holidays.
Well, I'm not sure if I can sack him on the strength of his musical taste, but I am getting quite bored of it, because when he stopped playing that, I thought, well, that's good, he'll play something else. And then it was quite an angry political man shouting for about 2 hours.
Billy Bragg?
Which worried me even more.
And in English?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, I think if you ask him to change it, he will do it, because I think everything he does, he's doing it for you.
I like that.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I have a building work question for you. In fact, I've got two. We'll come in a moment to what your MO is when the builders are there. I find that I overoffer tea.
Yeah.
I overoffer it because I think it's the only thing I can do in this whole equation.
Yeah.
They're all being macho and fetching and carrying and building. So the least I can do is go, would you guys like a tea?
Yeah.
Let's play to our strengths. I'm good at putting the kettle on. But are they using the bathroom that is part of your house, or did they make a big deal? Because we've got a quote for some building work, and they said, oh yeah, we'll bring one of those portaloos so it doesn't bother you. What's the situation there?
Well, I'm very glad you raised that.
Yeah.
Someone's had to.
Yeah.
I'm not happy.
Oh dear.
I'm not happy.
This was exactly what I was concerned about.
I don't like
Finding
Tudor
a copy of
in
the
my
Sun
ensuite.
next to yeah.
And your ensuite.
Tudor has been seen in my ensuite. I'm not happy.
When the other one's busy.
When they'd finished, Tudor stayed the night.
I just don't like it. But it feels really mean to say you can't use my bathroom. But on the other hand, you can't. Sorry.
Is there an alternative bathroom? Notice I went for a long eval there.
I just
You're not trying to send them to the Wetherspoons down the road or something, are you?
But I think a Portaloo would be more suitable. And then, of course, I've got the neighbour upstairs, lovely chap, but he's an interior designer. So he does, he likes to offer an opinion. He came in the other day, I was getting a wall painted. I said, there were 3 shades of blue. I said, what do you think of that? And he said, he's a lovely chap. He and his partner live upstairs. He said, he's Italian, so this isn't racist. Is Italian okay?
We'll be the judge of that.
Okay, you be the judge. He said, a bit child's bedroom.
Oh, dear.
He didn't think it was right for the bathroom. So I said, okay, what about that one? There were 3 colours in total. He went, yes, well, if you were going to, I think it would have to be that one. I mean, come on. He wasn't impressed.
You're not into blue.
I think he felt that it was the best of a bad choice.
Right.
Was the third one. One was child's bedroom. One he couldn't even put into words how he felt about it. And the other one was a sort of deathly compromise.
This is the neighbour that you told me had a long-term relationship with a Smurf, isn't it? He's just absolutely hates blue, that guy. It's him, isn't it?
Yeah. But, it ended badly for him. It's a bit like me and Tudor. It's going to end in a beheading, isn't it?
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
This is the Frank Skinner Show. He's not here this week. Oh, I gasped in a really horrible way there. It sounded like it was my last breath. Yeah, I'm stunned.
Even an hour in, you're still shocked.
He's not here this morning. We're pre-recording the show. Stop making me laugh. So you can't text the show. But, you can write to us, we established earlier.
Write to us if you want your pictures back to include a stamped addressed envelope.
P.O. Box, Absolute
P.O. Box
Radio.
431, Maidstone, Kent.
Carrier pigeon we'll accept. We'll accept a carrier pigeon if you've got any.
That's made up, by the way.
Just tie a message to the dog you don't want anymore. Any of these is absolutely fine.
I never said that. I don't want you to...
Can I just say, no one's getting rid of any dogs. We both love our dogs, Alan and I. We're just saying that sometimes they feel burdensome.
It's a bit like the flaw in the rug, as we discussed, many times. They're
exactly.
Great, but everything that's wonderful has a little flaw in it.
Exactly.
Am I right?
Yeah. In my case, chronic incontinence.
Yeah. In your dog's case, you mean? I thought you were sitting slightly higher.
Yeah, there you go.
On that nappy.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, exciting news.
Yes.
It's going to be the event of the season.
Hear ye.
Pippa Middleton has leprosy, by the sounds of that.
I hope Tudor's listening.
Tudor's going to be devastated.
He's going to love the
That's
time
3
crying.
friends this week.
No, so Pippa Middleton is getting married.
Yes, I heard about
didn't
this.
know. I've only just heard about that in the newspaper. Nobody told me. The invitation hasn't come through so far.
If I could have a list of people not going to be invited to that wedding, you'd be in my top 5, I think.
Well, I'm not the only one on the list.
That shows you in a great light, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
How about this, though? The last time I was on the show, we were talking about Prince William being skiing.
Yes.
Well, how about this that I read? It turns out that Pippa Middleton's hen do was on the same weekend.
No way.
Yes.
Oh, God.
So what I think is, this is my conspiracy theory.
Can I just say I love it when you read the gossip mags?
Yeah. My conspiracy theory is all of that Prince William stuff was just a smokescreen to cover up the fact that they were having their hen do. And also, all the talk about, oh, poor Kate at home with the children.
Yes.
That was a load of rubbish. Because she was nowhere near those kids.
She was in Blackpool wearing a hat.
Yes.
Putting a tenner in a Chippendales boxer shorts. That's what's happening there.
Oh, I hope she was.
Like the mystery woman, in quotation marks, that Will was dancing was the least dodgy thing happening in their marriage that weekend.
I love your conspiracy theories.
Yeah. By the way, mystery woman, I think that's just bad reporting. That's just someone who they haven't found out who it is.
But we Googled her and she didn't come up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Nothing came up on it. Well, it's an interesting thing. So she's getting married...
in the morning.
Next month.
Yeah.
But at the wedding, she's imposed this no ring, no bring rule.
Yeah.
Basically. So that means if you aren't married or engaged, then you can't come. You can't bring your partner.
Yeah. Which is good that you've established that, because I think a lot of the guests were worried that they had to be an Olympian to go no ring.
Exactly.
You know, you need to have
You need evidence.
Olympic
You need at least
link,
one golden ring.
like a theme party.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think Spencer Matthews is her brother-in-law.
So the suggestion is that Spencer Matthews, who's going out with Vogue Williams.
Yes.
I've learned all of these people, who they are. She is a famous-ish person who's been on reality TV shows. She's a DJ and model. Mm-hmm. Both careers that took a lot of training. And
well, we can talk, to be fair.
Yeah.
Sitting around a table.
she's also an underwear model.
Yes.
Vogue Williams, did you know that?
My dog Ray would like her.
She models underwear for Lidl.
No way.
Yeah.
Does
so, on the miscellaneous aisle in Lidl, next to the circular saw and the wetsuits.
I like that
They
aisle.
sound
They
good.
also...
I actually
They sound
like that aisle.
really good investment pieces.
Yeah.
The little underwear range. I should say, I'm sure they're lovely.
$5.99 push-up bra.
No.
I researched. Did quite a lot of research
When
about
you
those
say
pictures.
you researched, are you like the 14-year-old boy with your mum's gratin catalogue?
Afraid so. That's my worry.
Looking for the potato section. That's a potato gratin joke for those who are wondering. Need some explanation for that.
I needed that explanation.
Yeah, I thought
did
people
Do you know
might
what,
need an
Al?
explanation.
I had a really quick, idiotic eureka moment. It only took about 7 seconds, but I got the joke in the end.
Well done.
I liked it. So there's a whole thing going on with this wedding, and we're going to go in deep to this.
Yeah. I mean, you've already mentioned there's a no ring, no bring policy, which...
Does that mean that she's not allowed in? Oh, if you're engaged, you have to be engaged.
Well, Vogue
Because
Williams...
she is engaged, isn't
Vogue
she?
Williams said she had a prior engagement, and I think that's the problem, love. That's what you haven't got.
Yeah.
That's why you're not coming. But we need to talk about this more, because I don't know whether you agree with the policy, but I've got views on it.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We're talking this morning on Absolute Radio about Pippa Middleton and her upcoming wedding, which has a no ring, no bring policy.
Which I think we've already discussed that people that are engaged, there's somehow a little bit of a holding zone. Are they allowed in? Aren't they allowed in? And is it a literal no ring, no bring? What about people who are married but don't wear a wedding ring? Like myself.
People looking to score.
Yeah, exactly.
What? Oh, you mean, I know, what are they called again? Oh, filthy creeps, that's right. Sorry, I always forget.
Play.
I don't wear a
Those
wedding ring.
really
I got
committed
one.
men
I
who
got
don't
one,
wear
and
wedding
then
rings.
I just don't wear it anymore.
Legend.
Exactly, legend. And do you know what? My wife also has a wedding ring and quite often doesn't wear hers.
What
too.
would be
So
bad, and I
would
know...
we just not get to go, or would we have to put our rings
You'd
on?
have to just put put a ring on it.
Is there going to be
evening.
like security going, hands out, hands out?
Put the ring
It
on.
feels unworkable. No ring, no bring.
Can you imagine them checking your hands as you went in? Also, I would just put a ring on without actually being engaged. They can't prove anything.
Exactly. It's not as
I'll
good
say
as
he proposed an hour ago.
It's not as good as an ID system, is it? Like, and what about people that are single that do wear rings, like Bobby George, the darts player? Would he be allowed in? 'Cause he's got a handful
he likes
of
a ring.
rings.
Or a lady sometimes wears a ring to put off filthy creeps.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of such things.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just don't think it's workable, this no ring, no bring. I think it's become popular because it rhymes.
Well, I'll tell you why else. You're right, but I'll tell you why else it's popular, Al.
Like rap music.
We've all been there. We've all had that situation when the friend turns up with a partner and she says, "What's Seinfeld?" And you think, right, okay.
Yeah.
And then I think, well, this isn't going to last. I don't think this is going to last. But I then get a feeling of, I don't really want to invest.
Yeah.
Is that mean?
No, it's fine.
Happens with male and female friends, I should say, the don't invest thing.
Yeah.
So I feel with this wedding, is Pippa saying, I don't see why you should drink our drink and eat our food if you're not going to be around in 6 months?
I don't think she'll eat much if she's an underwear model. She could have saved a bit.
Oh, that's true.
Well,
Yeah.
the suggestion is that she just doesn't want that sort of people around. And I think
like Gareth suddenly becoming a massive snob.
Well, no, this is what's going on. A source. So the Sun have scored a very big deal, and they found sources that were willing to talk about Pippa's intimate feelings on the matter.
Okay.
And it says it's clear Pippa doesn't want to be outshone by any TV babes.
Oh.
That's a
So
good
she, like having completely ruined Kate's wedding by being the talk of the town. And can I just say, it wasn't Britain at its best, how obsessed people got. With
Oh, yes, they
parts
got
of her
very
anatomy.
obsessed with her bottom, didn't they?
Yeah,
She did
it was
upstage her
the big story.
sister. She
That's what
upstaged
people,
Well, she just put a
that's what
dress
people
on.
felt like.
Yeah,
Haters gone hate.
it's true.
The girlfriend just had a dress on.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think there might be a revenge thing.
You're going to wear dungarees?
I think there might be a revenge thing. Just you mark my words.
She can't help it if people
Pippa's wedding.
Kate's going to
Mark
go
Kate.
real low cut,
I think
plunging down to a crack.
see-through back of dress,
Imagine
Oh,
if she
that
went
would
in
be
one of
great.
those Vegas showgirls with the feathers.
thong and see-through back of dress. Mark my words.
And like William comes in dressed like Elton John in his heyday with like a big, or like Elvis in a one-piece jumpsuit, and they just go to town going, you're going to ruin our wedding by like upstaging the bride. Look what we done.
I would,
Exactly.
much like Kevin Keegan, I would love that. I would love it if that happened.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So this Vogue Williams character,
Yes.
yeah.
she...
Underwear model, DJ, and model as well.
I don't like the slightly robotic way in which you're announcing all this information.
Brian, I've
about-
learned a lot of stuff and I
actually-
want to show off my knowledge.
You actually gradually dressed her during that sentence. Underwear model, DJ, and model. She ended up in full clothing. didn't she?
Also, Al,
They keep
I
getting-
think Gareth sounded a bit like robot Wikipedia. It's like underwear model.
Also, Brian McFadden's ex.
What's amazing to me in this story
Thanks
is
for that, Gav.
she's called Vogue, and the newspaper doesn't seem to have made any mention of... They've not even seized the chance to say she's not on Vogue or out of Vogue.
Yeah. Can you imagine
Vogue the Rogue.
what Frank Skinner would have done with that
Oh,
punning
I
opportunity?
can imagine.
He'd have been up all night
Yeah.
crafting awesome puns.
Thinking about Vogue. Yeah.
It's strange, yeah.
Not been
Strike
in
a
Vogue.
pose.
I don't think the little advertising Vogue magazine.
I don't
Emily,
know.
you probably know
I'm
more
not
about those sorts of
I wouldn't
deals.
have thought so, but I'm not 100% sure.
I think they're more Aldi.
Morrison's. Yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree. So we're all in agreement on that. We sort of see Pippa's reasoning,
Yeah.
is what I feel. But I think implementing it is a bit too far.
Well, the problem is that from Made in Chelsea, aren't they? These people, which
They're
was,
made in Chelsea.
No, there's.
I like
there's
these
there's
people
A
as
TV
well.
show.
You know where they were conceived? That's
No,
amazing.
there's a TV show, Alan, called Made in Chelsea.
There is, yes.
And I mean, I can.
He
watch,
won't have seen that.
I know, but I can watch rubbish on TV. I will watch hours of Homes Under the Hammer, stuff like that. But I mean, it is unwatchable. And the idea is that it's
Tread on my dreams, why don't you?
it's
Tread on my passions.
it's not very bright, wealthy people who don't do anything all day, just sort of hang around and have, romantic attachments to each other, but are independently wealthy. And the problem is there is some crossover between those people and the royal family.
That's
and
essentially-
they're trying to make out like there isn't.
Yes.
Well, that's essentially what they do. You're absolutely right. Oh, my chair's broken. Hang on.
When thick rich people get tribal, is that the problem?
Yeah, that's
Well, they don't want.
Territorial.
They don't want too many other people doing that.
Yeah.
As you say, that's their gig, isn't it?
See the problem.
They're already good at it. But I like this guy that she's marrying. So Spencer Matthews is the brother-in-law. That's her fiance's.
He's James Matthews' brother. James Matthews.
And I spent the day with Spencer Matthews.
He's a hedge fund manager. You spent the day with Spencer Matthews?
I have.
Oh.
He took me out in his Ferrari.
Did he?
Yes.
Is that a euphemism for...
No. Do you know what? I was expecting the worst. And I got it. No. I was expecting the worst. He was very nice. He was actually really polite and charming. And I have no idea whether that was just him being nice because we were recording something, we were filming something. But he seemed a very nice chap.
He was nice and charming.
Was he already seeing Vogue or...?
No, he had another girlfriend then.
Right.
And he stopped mid-drive and said, let's go and see my girlfriend. Do you want to meet her? And so we popped into this woman's office and she didn't look very happy at being disturbed while another woman was in the car. Yeah. And then she sort of spoke a bit harshly to him in French. And then we drove off. He went, oh, never mind. And then we went to see his friend Hugo.
Never come to my office.
Who was also in the show.
Women to my office.
And he said, hey, mate, how are you? Oh, Glastonbury. I'm ruined. I'm a wreck now. And then they drove off.
Not financially, though.
No.
Fine.
And that was it. So I got an insight into his day, which is a lot of driving around Chelsea.
Girlfriends.
Seeing people.
Going to... I've got a friend who's got a job. Should we go to their office? I mean, crazy. Stuff like that.
Well, that's their equivalent of going to the zoo, isn't it?
Yes.
Seeing what we do the rest of the time. But I noticed... there was a lot of tanned ankles and loafer action, big wristwatch, and powder blue shirt with sleeves rolled up.
Oh, yeah. That sounds like the thing.
Yeah. But, look, he could have been a lot worse, is what I'm saying.
Yes. Well, his brother James, he's a hedge fund manager. He likes skiing and mountain climbing. Him and Pippa go cycling together. I mean, frankly, they're welcome to each other.
I love it when people don't revert to type, don't you?
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
I'll be honest, I think there is a little bit of the tabloids trying to create a bit of rap-style beef, a bit of frisson, argumentativeness between people. Sometimes they foist that on them, don't they?
The rap battle with Vogue and Pippa, you mean?
Not even rap, just a bit of argument. Like, oh, maybe Vogue is absolutely fine. She might genuinely have something else on that night. She did say that, which always sounds like a lie. I agree.
But don't say prior engagement when it's no ring, no bring.
But
some people are shocked that her future brother-in-law will end up attending on his own.
That's the bit that made me laugh. Her future brother-in-law. And I thought, well, he's going to know at least one person, isn't he? His brother's going to be there for a start.
His brother's there.
Granted, he'll be busy, but presumably, like the papers make it sound like...
by himself. Maybe they could put out some board games or
he's got a solitaire app on his phone.
You know what? He's going to have to go on the kids' table.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be great, wouldn't
He's
it?
going to have to go on that table with the freaks and the children.
With George and Charlotte.
Well,
monsters.
I believe if she's got...
Who is that man, Mummy?
I believe if it's a no ring, no bring rule, then that means old Meghan Markle Sparkle.
What about no bling, no bring? Is that not better?
She's not made the
She
cut
won't be
either.
able to go, though. No, I've noted the bling joke, and I like it.
Thank you.
But I'm just saying, Harry can't bring his girlfriend then. Is this right?
Well, that's probably for the best. He's not in his settling down stage yet, is he?
I mean, just saying no ring, no bring, because it rhymes doesn't mean that it's fine, does it? Two tubby, no hubby. There you go. You couldn't have a wedding based on that.
Too much gin, no thin.
Exactly. There you
Why
go.
don't we just make them up?
I mean, my wife and I, we had a wedding, and the rule was if we can't
I should
invite
hope your wife and I had a wedding.
Your wife and I had a wedding.
Our guest list rule was if we can't invite you, we haven't invited you. So
Yes.
I think there was 7 people, and then we just sent out a group text to people after it.
I'll tell you the worst kind of invitations, though. And yes, I say invitations, not invites, because invites is an American corruption.
Did
That's
I
what
say
my father.
invites?
No, you didn't.
Oh,
I'm
good.
just checking myself.
So glad.
That's the sort of stuff my father would tell us off over. Not too much kind of time on the computer, or it was don't use the word invite, it's invitations. Anyway, I used to find with invitations that I would be very insulted if I got the evening invite.
Evening only.
Everyone gets insulted.
Evening
Although actually,
only.
it's one of those
Turn
things.
up at 11 o'clock when there's a pay bar.
It's a shame, though, isn't it? Because in a way, it's be careful what you wish for. Because you want to go to the day thing, and then you realise, actually, that's quite a boring bit of it.
Oh, I like a salmon.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. I like a salmon. And
This is not the sort of weddings we go to. She's talking about like catered properly a meal.
What do you go to? Some Angela's Ashes in
like
the pub?
a buffet in a function room. That's what the evening is.
Salmon. I have a sausage roll on a paper plate.
Salmon sandwich.
Salmon flavoured crisps.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
No, I'm going to name and shame you. We were starting the link, the mics were up, I was about to start talking, and the producer pointed at an M&M next to me and went, "That's a big one, Em." I mean, I know Big Daddy's away, but come on, have some respect. Gareth, it's always lovely to have you here.
It's a pleasure.
What's been going on with you?
Well, the exciting time has come for me to reorganise my car situation.
Oh, well, Alan did this recently, so...
Oh, really?
I've changed cars several times already this year.
Oh,
wow.
Do
Yes.
you know what? If this was a Tinder
Crazy.
match, it would be going well.
Oh, yeah.
so
We've
much
both got check shirts on. We're looking very similar.
It's very Brokeback Mountain today.
It is.
I like it.
What are you driving these days, Gareth? What are you driving? I love these chats.
Well,
Absolutely
a Skoda. The last 3 cars I've had, I
Oh, I'm
believe,
sorry
have been
to hear that.
Skodas.
3
Yeah,
Skodas in.
3 Skodas in. Going for number 4.
You gone for Skoda again?
Very reliable. Never had any problems with them. They are comedy cars.
Yes.
When you
used
say
to be
that,
jokes about
they're
them.
not as funny as they
No,
used
they're
to
not
be.
as funny as they used to be. But
Like comedians.
They were the go-to car, weren't they, for the...
They were.
back in the
The
days
gag.
when, cars could say what they want about people.
Yeah.
But yes, it's time to get a new car. I'm going to be very careful because I believe when I spoke about on the show before about getting a new car, Frank was not happy with me going into hire purchase agreements in too much detail.
Oh,
Is that
really?
right?
Yeah, no, he really
How
wasn't.
do you know this?
Well, I remember. He was very forceful about it.
Oh, I didn't know this.
And,
well, then don't mention hire
yeah.
purchase. I think it makes him come out in hives. He doesn't like it.
Was he worried about
So-
the finance, or was he worried about the
I
boringness
think, yeah,
of
just
the
very
show?
boring. Just
Oh,
how
right,
very,
I
very
see.
boring
I
was.
think it probably ticked both those boxes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, anyway, what's going on?
I spent a whole afternoon, I made a new friend with a guy called Gus.
Who's Gus?
Gus is the sales advisor at Skoda.
That's a nice friend, Gareth.
Nice man, young man. He's currently in Thailand.
Is he?
What?
Having so he's got a
He
holiday.
made so much
I've got
money
to wait
off the
to get
hire
the car.
purchase for you that he's
It was like-
retired to
Yeah,
Thailand.
he
So-
sort of-
sorry, can you
We signed the
explain?
deal and he went, "Woo! I'm out of here."
I think you've
Off
been
to
defrauded.
Thailand.
So what happened? So why is he in Thailand?
Well, I think he just had a holiday booked in. I mean, I do have to wait to get the car until he's back from holiday.
Was that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if
like
that's
that.
just how it's worked out,
I
but
don't like that as an idea.
Oh, just so you know, that's not standard procedure.
Hang on.
So, okay, so
not
you...
Hang on, what
Is
they're
he
not
not
doing the
coming back?
customer is always right. They're doing the salesman is right. He's on holiday, and then things start happening again when he's back. Unbelievable.
So what happened?
So what happened?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you've met
Yes.
Gus.
Yeah, I met Gus. He plays squash.
Okay.
He does.
He's your
I
friend.
bet he does in a Skoda. They're not that big.
He's my
Well, some of
friend.
them are.
And so he says, "Oh, you did a lot of miles in the last one. How come you did so many miles?" And I was like, "Well, I do a lot of driving. I'm a comedian."
Yes.
And he said, "Oh, yeah?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Really? Would I?" And then he Googled me.
Oh.
He had a computer at
While
his
you were
desk.
standing there.
While I was, I sat down.
Okay, your posture's not that relevant.
No, but
So what? So that's quite rude.
yeah. So he Googles me because yeah, first thing that comes up. I was like, well, I don't know, blow my own trumpet, but yeah.
You'd
and,
be more worried if it was the second or
Gareth
the
Richards,
what
the
could you have
photographer.
done? What could you have done that comes up before being a comedian? Anyway,
Yes, and then he Googled me, and then he played a video
of your own stuff to
of
you.
you?
my
Yeah.
set on the internet. And I mean, I wasn't prepared for quite how awkward that was going to be. I felt like, when people are having an operation
Yes.
and they're under the anaesthetic, but they're still awake and they can still feel everything.
Oh, a
but they
slightly
can't
out of body experience.
Express, they're locked in.
Oh,
This
yeah.
sounds like
Yeah.
one of the most horribly awkward experiences ever, which is why I want to drag it out a bit more. So we'll be back in a bit.
Frank
Skinner
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
So Gareth, you've met Gus.
Yeah,
You're
Gus, the sales advisor at the
You're on the
Skoda
cusp
dealership.
of buying the car from Gus.
Yes, and I'm also aware the dynamic of the situation is he's trying to endear himself to me. You know, he thinks he's making a fuss of me and doing things I want him to do.
He sees you very much as a lead. I
Yeah.
think that's the term they use, isn't it?
I thought it was a mark.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, Mark.
You're on the hook.
What
as
he
it were.
doesn't know is I'm buying a car, whatever happens. I don't want to go around I'm not shopping around.
No.
I always get my cars from there. This is the easiest sale he's ever had. So he starts playing my stand-up clip. And I realise how long it is with me saying hello to everyone before I actually do a joke. And I start sort of panicking. And go, well, actually, they cut out the joke I normally do about, well, just pause it there. I'll give you the routine. And I usually do a joke about Bournemouth there, but they cut it out not to upset anyone. But
Can I ask a very important question? Is he laughing at this point?
No, well, would I be floundering so much if he was laughing? If he was rolling around on the floor, I'd be very...
I didn't say rolling around on the floor. One laugh.
So so far I've only just said hello, and he's looking like his attention's wandering.
Okay.
Oh,
you
dear.
know. I'm not sure he's got an amazing attention span generally, but it's not. And so
Don't start hating on him because he didn't laugh at your comedy.
he's a nice young man.
So,
Twice you mentioned he's young. That worries me. How
Yeah.
young was he?
8, 9? Yeah, no,
Is it a
you know,
toy
he's
car you
younger than us, Alan.
Okay.
You know, we're getting on.
are you
Let's
two the
face
same
it.
age?
No, he's older than me.
All right.
He's hanging out with a nice young man here.
So then what
Turns out
happened?
I was happy when we were talking about Gus and his age.
I
So
mean, let's
did-
talk about how old Alan is,
did,
by all means.
Did Gus manage to get
Old
through?
Father Time over here.
Did Gus manage to get through the whole clip?
No, I suggested that he stopped playing that. I said, well, maybe watch that in your own time.
Yeah.
But yes, I do stand-up comedy, and but then he was very interested in the behind-the-scenes world of comedy because
Really?
he was something of a comedy fan, he believed, and we went for a test
Saw your
drive.
clip.
We went for a test drive, and what they do is they drive it out of the lot. And what happened was he asked me questions about behind the scenes in comedy,
Right.
and I started asking him questions about behind the scenes in selling cars.
Oh.
Because we had a rapport, and we were like talking
When
about.
you say behind the scenes, it's all quite up front selling cars, isn't it?
No, well, you would think so, but
Oh.
why? I said, so how come? He drove me out to a Tesco's car park somewhere, and then we swapped over, and I was like, oh, how come you didn't let me drive out of the lot? Is it because it's for the insurance, I'm going to smash into one of the other brand new
I
cars?
hope you said
or
it with
whatever?
a slight edge to your voice as well.
Well, there's a tension, isn't there, in the whole situation? And he says, "Oh no, what it is if someone gets in a new car, they're very likely to stall it because it's like a different clutch to brand new clutch, a very light clutch,
Yes.
and go so like they'll go, oh, this car's rubbish, it's stalled straight away when
Right.
actually they don't know how to drive it. So
Oh,
if
I
you
see.
show them that it's a very
Right.
good car." That drives very well, then you can't say, oh, it's something problem with the car. It's clearly you who doesn't know how to drive it yet.
Oh, okay.
I like Gus.
Oh, well, I'm glad we've resolved
Yeah.
that. Can we talk about the hire purchase agreement now?
Yes.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
I was going to say good morning, this is the Frank Skinner Show, like we were starting the show, but it's actually been on for a fair few hours now. But I wanted to just reintroduce my lovely boys who are here this morning. I'm going to play their jingles again just because I'm doing it on my iPad and it's very exciting. There's fabulous Doctor, there he is. And there's Gareth.
He's the loneliest man in the world.
Except for when he's with Gus.
Yeah, not when I went and buy a car all
So
afternoon.
we should say, I'm Emily Dean, by the way, and this is
Hello,
the Frank
Emily.
Skinner Show. Hello. He's not here this week, but the important thing is that we left you on a cliffhanger, which was Gareth was in the middle of buying a Skoda car from Gus at the dealership.
Yes.
Over to you, Gareth. Not live at the scene, but,
Literally, we're not live. This is a pre-record.
No, this is a pre-record, exactly.
So he Googled me, discovered I was a comedian, and the thing is, he's trying to sell me a car, so he's trying to endear himself to me. So he said, and he almost pulled this off, but he said, "Oh, I've never sold a car to someone famous before," but he didn't quite say famous with enough conviction.
Oh, wrong emphasis.
Like he suddenly made it into a question, which
Yes.
quite correctly.
It's
let's
difficult.
Was he waiting for you to step in and confirm whether you were famous or not?
No, I mean, we all knew I wasn't famous. He didn't recognise me when I walked in.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're driving and we're sharing behind-the-scenes tidbits from our respective careers. And he asks me, he's a big fan of Frankie Boyle, and he said there was a bit in a Frankie Boyle DVD where it seemed like Frankie had lost the thread and said, "Oh, what am I saying?" And he said those little ad-lib bits when comedians do that, are they real? Like, was that a real thing where he tripped up and did it by mistake, or was that all planned? Is everything all planned?
What is the answer to that? I've always wondered.
Well, I was going to talk to you about this, Alan, because, I mean...
Enjoy yourselves, boys. I'm just going to get a cup of tea, shall I? Hope we're having a nice time over there.
I think it's a policy decision, isn't it? Sometimes people do things that they act like it's a mistake, but it's not really a mistake.
Yeah.
Now, I don't really like that.
Right.
I feel like that's a level of deceit that I'm not happy with.
Yeah.
I think, if something happens in the moment, that's great, but... How do you feel about that, Alan? And Emily, I value your...
No, you go ahead. Knock yourself out.
I don't mind it. I occasionally will
like...
have a deliberate mistake in, because I got bills.
You've got bills to pay.
Just be as funny as we can and
I'm
then go
liking
home,
this
shall we?
comedy masterclass, but I do want to find out what happened with Gus.
Yeah. So I asked him that question. I said, I'm always a bit like, I don't really like that. I think there's a level of deceit I'm unhappy with. If you're happy with that, Alan, that's
Did he
fine.
mutter purist under his foot? Purist.
Well, then what happened is he's trying to sell me a thing called gap insurance.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know this?
Yeah.
So it's
I'm not familiar with it.
If you total the car, you're going to get an amount of money back on insurance, and it might not be as much as you owe paying back the car, and so you'll be in a problem. And you can get gap insurance, which covers you for 3 years and pays you back the full amount of the car.
I'm glad we know that now.
To cover your gap insurance. And I'm not getting gap insurance.
No,
You're
better than that, Gareth.
I live by the seat of my pants. I will go whatever way fate blows me. Anyway, and there's more money. I'm not made of money, mate.
Where does it end?
Yeah, where
does
does
you
it
get gap
end?
insurance? Next thing they'll want you to
He's
get car
already
insurance.
got me paying more monthly than I want to.
Oh, that's how they get
so
you.
he's out of it. He's
This
out.
is how they
I'm
get
not
you.
doing any more extras. And he says it's $499.
$4.99
No, £499
per month.
No,
A day.
no, like for the gap insurance in total.
In total, yeah.
And I say, no, I'm not paying that. And he goes, well, I'll ask my manager for you.
I like that you went a bit cockney when you said, "I ain't paying that."
And maybe I'll go and have a word with him, and he might be able to get that down for you.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
And I smell a rat in this situation straight away, because he is doing exactly what this is a pretended improvised moment.
It is.
This isn't real at
You're
all.
absolutely right.
He is lying to me.
He's planned this whole thing.
He's lying to me. And so he
Yeah.
goes to the manager. The manager comes over and goes, "Oh, what is it? The gap agreement? Oh, so you on that car? Oh, yeah, you should definitely have. Oh, it'd be dangerous not to have the gap insurance on that."
Much as I hate to break this story up, we are going to have to leave you on tenterhooks to find out what happened with the gap insurance. One moment, please.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So, Gareth, what happened with the gap insurance?
So they're trying to sell me the gap insurance. The main
I'm dying to know.
The main manager comes over.
Just to bring people in, if they've just joined, the first mention of the gap insurance, it was at $499.
Is this the weirdest show we've ever done?
It's getting close.
It's so strange.
I'm guessing that with some aggressive haggling, Gareth got it down to $498.
So, Gareth, what did you get it down to? Come on.
Well, the manager says, "Oh, yeah, I wouldn't want to get a car like that without gap insurance." And I said to him, "Oh, you don't recommend I buy a car? Do you think it's a bit dangerous to be buying a car? I cannot buy a car if you think it would be too dangerous for me to do it."
Called him.
And he said, "No, it's always a good idea to buy a car." And they both sort of smiled in a way where, like, yeah, we all.
But I like what
we all
you
know
said,
what's going
Gareth,
on
because
here.
that was a sick burn.
Yeah.
Well done.
And then he says, "Oh, let $399."
Okay.
Have the gap
So
insurance.
you got 100 quid
$399.
off. Brilliant.
And it was very convenient that exactly 100. He's able to go exactly £100 down to $399. Anyway, I wasn't having any of it, and I felt betrayed by Gus that he did that whole charade. And at the end, I said, because it was a long time and I was a bit low in energy, so I was a bit cheesed off. And I said to him, "Really enjoyed your little show there."
Oh, Gareth.
And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Oh, yeah, your whole, little show with your manager."
You didn't say shtick.
Yeah, I did. No, I didn't say shtick.
Did you put him in his place then?
Well, he'd lost me, frankly.
I need to know though. Did you? So did you
did.
get? You didn't get the gap insurance.
Well, I didn't get the gap insurance, no.
But he did put Gus in his place.
So please.
You did?
His place is Thailand.
And so Gus is now in Thailand.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm devastated that you didn't get the gap insurance. I think you might come to regret that.
If anyone sees me out and about on the roads, please don't drive into me.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
What else? That's what Frank always says. What else?
Well,
What-
we've got some animal news. We've already done dogs.
Well, I love a bit of Animal Corner.
What about Tyrannosaurus Rex news?
Late review.
Somewhat late review, I'll grant you. The papers are saying that the Tyrannosaurus Rex was a sensitive lover. The scientists find.
Extraordinary.
I'll be honest.
Spencer Matthews reveals.
I think there is a little bit of a hop, skip, and a jump from the data that they've found to that conclusion.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
think
they
they're
called him a sensitive
They're
lover.
massaging the
so.
headline to make it seem more.
I think they're massaging the T-Rex.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't seem like he'd be very ooh baby, the T-Rex,
scientists
does he?
have
He
said-
seems a bit scaly.
Basically, they found out that its face would have been much more sensitive than they would have expected.
Oh, I see,
beforehand.
okay. He had a sensitive nose, I believe.
I believe
didn't
it
he?
is the nose, and it might even have yearned to be touched. They said. That's what I mean, we've all had nights like this, but
I've got this idea of the T-Rex sitting around listening to Magic. That's one of our stable mates, so I can mention them. Listening to some of those love songs, Al.
yeah, and they've said in the quite scientific report, in Scientific Reports, that's the journal, in courtship, tyrannosaurids might have rubbed their sensitive faces together as a vital part of pre-copulatory play. And
They don't make it sound very sexy.
I think the assembled science community said, get a room.
So this was a sort of pre-hanky-panky ritual they used to do.
And I guess the idea of nuzzling up against each other, that is cuter than perhaps you would normally think a T-Rex was.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
They've got
about
more of a aggressive, bitey reputation, haven't they?
they've
Rather
got
than an Eskimo
much-
kiss.
I
much
just can't
more,
see them as
"Oh no,
sensitive."
look at the water. The water's rippling. What's happening? Something terrible's happening. Oh no, there's the eye in the Land Rover door, and then
Well,
a man
that's-
gets eaten off a toilet.
The thing,
That's the normal.
that's what would have. Well, that's just a Thursday in my house. But that's the one thing that I would be put off with the T-Rex would be the eye.
Yeah.
You don't want a T-Rex giving you the eye.
But the eyes I remember from that Jurassic Park. I don't know if it was the T-Rex, but they've got a scary eye.
Well,
haven't they?
it might be okay for you because they'll nuzzle you with their sensitive nose, but their eyes are on the side of their head. So it's only if they're like a goose. So it's only if they turn their head around that it'll be able to get a good look at you with his eye.
I should state on the record firmly, I'm not planning on any romantic
Well,
entanglements
the thing is,
with
the
the T-Rex.
suggestion is that we're all supposed to reassess the Tyrannosaurus Rex and see them as some sort of, Tom Jones style sex symbol.
I thought we were meant to see them as a bit of a lovely new man. That's
Yeah.
how I'm seeing the
Yeah.
T-Rex.
They're more gentle than they've been given credit for.
I don't know how they come up with, scientifically, how they know that they yearn to be touched. What have they found in T-Rex's diary? Under a prehistoric pillow with a lock on, and they've managed to open the lock.
The T-Rex 5-year diary.
Just ate a Stegosaurus. Now I yearn to be touched.
I just wish he'd give me a bit more of his time. I think they're quite needy, T-Rexes.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
So we're talking about T-Rexes on Absolute Radio this morning and their sensitive side. And, I mean, we're not saying they were good lovers, because I don't know the answer to that question.
No.
But they're saying they had a very sensitive face that they reckon they might have utilised in their...
The nose, specifically,
yes, the
Gareth.
good nose.
So the nose...
Frank had a routine about in his last talk, but I'm not
Did
going
he?
to go into that. He did, yeah.
It said the nose was as sensitive as the human fingertips.
Yes, like a third hand. And I think why that makes sense to me is that T-Rexes do have quite short arms.
They do.
Do they?
So, yes.
They're known for it.
No, like little...
Oh, like Maradona or something.
Little arms out the
He's
front.
got little arms, Maradona.
Yes.
Has he?
Yeah.
Although he got it to that ball, didn't he?
He did indeed. Late review. Hand of God.
Hand
Joe.
of God. I don't think anyone listening to this show is even born for Hand of God.
Well, so I remember it well. Mexico.
I struggled when they said they might have rubbed their sensitive noses together as a vital part of pre-copulatory play. Vital is the word that I challenged there. Like, there might have been one T-Rex that tried to skip that stage, and the other T-Rex like, hang on, nose first. I'm not a goer. I'm not like the girls you've heard about.
What do you think I am? What kind of a dinosaur do you think I am?
You need to ease me in. Don't go straight for the face.
Vital. But if their noses were that sensitive...
I mean, you could at least buy me dinner first.
If their noses were that sensitive, surely those little hands would have been a real problem, because, like, when it
Stop
gets
saying
itchy...
little hands, it's a bit creepy.
When it gets itchy, they would probably want to, give the snout a little wipe, and then they can't because they've got the little hands.
One of the things I find most creepy about the T-Rex are those horrible little hands. I mean, I realise it's not an everyday problem for me. It doesn't affect my life that much.
No one's asking you to go out with a T-Rex.
But there's something about them that gives me the creeps a bit, if I'm honest. And now this new information coming to light, I don't know.
Well, it's suspicious on a number of levels. I feel like maybe a scientist is trying to do a PR exercise on the T-Rex to convince us it'll be okay to clone them from their DNA that he's found in a mosquito in amber and create a theme park. And I think that is going to be a mistake. And I'm not falling for it. And also, they're not interested in human love.
No.
They're not going to want to get together with us anyway.
Well,
Why
not
are we
unless
none of our business?
you're wearing an extremely scaly suit.
I just hope that there are some really pedantic people listening and thinking, man never cohabited with dinosaur.
Well, you say that, but I've got a lovely dinosaur onesie. I'm going to crack that out.
I take it back then. The creationists are right.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So the cockerel, he's been on his... I was going to say what irritating people say, which is, have you been on your hollybobs?
Oh, I thought you were going to say he's been on his jollies.
Jollies, hollybobs. You do that. So you've been away, haven't you, cockerel?
We have. The family went during the half-term break for a what I think they call a mini break to Brussels.
Lovely.
Oh.
It was lovely. It was.
So you went in the designated family holiday time and spent the Benjamins. Congratulations.
We spent the Benjamins and then some. Oh, my God. 160 quid just for the Whippet Hotel. And that's before we've even set foot on the plane. Don't get me started.
Now, the Whippet Hotel, what... Is that where you stayed in Brussels? No, that sounds more like a couple away sort of place.
That's where the
dog stayed. The dog stayed in the Hilton Manchester. We stayed in the Whippet Hotel in Brussels.
I love the sound of the Whippet Hotel. You have to wear flat caps there.
Dress up as a T-Rex.
That's conversationally what we call it. But
yes.
But anyway, I don't want to get bogged down into moaning about the price of the dog. I'd rather moan about the actual holiday.
We'd rather hear about the price of the holiday. So how was Brussels?
You wanted to take the kids to have one last look at the home of the European Union.
Exactly.
Where it all happens.
We'll probably visit all the European cities that we can in the next 2 years.
That would be a lovely grand tour, wouldn't it?
It would. Get it while you can. But let me just say, much to my chagrin, not a single Brussels sprout did I see in the whole time in Brussels.
Oh, I think they're overrated anyway.
I love them, but people really dislike them, and yet there's they bang on about other foods around the world. Like if you go to Melton Mowbray, you'll hear plenty of pork pie chat.
Yeah.
Aberdeen Angus, you'll get a steak. But Brussels,
Garibaldi,
not
they're
a
going about
single
those
sprout.
biscuits over there.
And they went on about moule frites. There's loads of moule frites there, which annoys me because surely...
So was it a food-based
No, but my observations... my initial puzzlement on return is why aren't they banging on about Brussels sprouts? Why can't you get like a Brussels sprout in Brussels, but you can get moule? And why are they calling them moule there? Surely they could be calling them Brussels mussels.
Brussels eggs.
Well, yeah. Although I just worry that this is ruining the enjoyment of your holiday.
No, it was nice.
Were the kids upset? Had you promised the kids some Brussels sprouts action?
Let's face it, that's an incentiviser.
You haven't had a Brussels sprout until you've had one in Brussels.
I'll tell you what we're going to have, kids.
Delighted.
Brussels sprouts ice cream.
Although we did have a worrying moment, the children, and my son particularly is a big fan of Tintin, which was one of the reasons that we went to...
You're going to say Tinder.
He's not a big
Don't get him on Tinder. It's
Give
too
it
young.
time, though, eh? They grow up so fast. But we went to Brussels partly to look in the comic book museum and all that stuff.
Oh, there's a comic book
There's
museum.
loads of Tintin stuff. And we went into this shop that we were just passing. It just looked like a comic book shop. And we went, oh, let's go in here. Tiny little shop. And I'm not exaggerating. It was stacked from the floor to the ceiling with comics and annuals to the point where we couldn't quite get in the shop. And the man said... I'm sorry, we've been open 20 years and we really need to have a tidy up. But 4 people could not get in because the shop was so full of comics, and I was really worried about a tower of comics falling onto one of my children.
Do you know this sounds like Jonathan Ross's house? Basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's probably got more room, I
So
would
did
imagine.
you... Oh, but I like the sound of this shop, though.
Terrifying. I mean, normally I'm worried
What, the
about...
prices?
No, I'm worried about my kids bumping into stuff in shops and hurting, like breaking. I'm worried about breakages that the kids might do in shops. This, I was worried about the shops breaking my children. I don't want a tower of magazines falling onto a 5-year-old.
Oh, he's all right. He's on Tinder at the moment. It's fine.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So the cockerels in Brussels.
Oh, I had an awful episode. In Brussels.
What happened?
We were visiting a thing called the Atomium there, which is this beautiful big structure that they built that looks like an atom. But nearby there was a little park, so we went to walk around it.
We on drugs?
No, but we went to walk around this park, and they had little sort of obstacle courses and like some pull-up bars and some climbing stuff. So we were letting the kids have a climb, and it was good. Burn off a little bit of energy.
Yeah.
So we were all playing, all 4 of us, and there were some little hurdle bars that then had some higher hurdle bars, and my wife did some running over the hurdles, saying, "Oh, let's have a go at this." And I thought she had a slightly strange hurdling style, so I said.
I don't know what mine would be, my hurdling style.
I said, I'm going to... Because I thought she was hurdling, but sort of putting her leg around the outside of the hurdle, so not really going over, going sideways. So I said, I'm going to do an impression of your hurdling. And then I went to do it and clipped one of the hurdles and fell flat on my face, scratched my shin really badly, and sprained my right ankle in the middle of... sarcastic hurdling. So it was an instant karma.
It was
moment.
a karma injury.
Yeah, and guess what you don't get with a karma injury?
What?
Sympathy,
exactly. What you get is, oh, well, that's the injury that you got making fun of me, innit? Because you're a meanie. I was just trying to join in and be a bit
You should have taken out
light.
one of Gareth's complicated insurance plans.
I mean,
that would have helped you.
This is how bad it was. We were on a hop-on, hop-off bus tour, and I had to literally hop on.
I would have been absolutely I would have been so happy if that happened to you, if you'd have laughed at my hurdling style.
My leg was pouring blood as we were on our way to the next stop. Yeah. It was ridiculous.
Hello.
And did you see the urinating baby?
We did.
Yeah, that's a big famous thing in Brussels.
Anyway.
But I mean, I've seen many of those.
On that bombshell, we're going to have to wrap up.
Oh, what? You don't want to talk more about...
No, I do, but we need to talk about this off air.
Okay.
I've got some questions.
And city break.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Frank will be back next week, and we'll be back in our normal studio, and you can text in, and we look forward to hearing from you very much. Thank you, Gareth. Thank you, Cockerel. We'll be seeing you.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.